Early German settlers came to the Texas Hill Country to get away from the nasty politics in Europe, only to find themselves up to their eyeballs in the chaos of the American Civil War. The Germans tended to be Unionists and unfriendly to slavery. They became targets of the hangerbande, the hanging bandits, who rode the mountains, lynching citizens and stealing their property. J.P. Waldrip of Gillespie County was a desperado and a bushwhacker described as a psychopath with odd-colored eyes. He seems to have gotten along fairly well with his German neighbors before the war, but the toxic political atmosphere of the 1860s gave him the liberty to act on his repressed psychopathic tendencies. Waldrip, wearing his trademark black beaver hat, was a self-styled frontier militia captain. He led an organization of 60 men at the peak of his career. They claimed to be Confederate soldiers assigned to the Texas frontier as Indian fighters, but they were really rustlers and bandits who committed murder and stole anything that wasn't tied down. In 1864, Waldrip and his gang of cutthroats went on a deadly rampage, hanging 4 men who lived on Grape Creek. One victim was John Blank. Reports said the outlaws hung Blank from the tree that still stands in what is now Luckenbach Cemetery. Not long after the Grape Creek lynching, the outlaws surrounded the house of Lewis Schutz. They ransacked the house, stole $400 cash, and lynched Schutz from a live oak tree. Authorities arrested J.P. Waldrip, but he was not prosecuted, possibly for fear of retribution. Waldrip left Gillespie County for a while, but in the spring of 1867, he and J.W. Caldwell rode into Fredericksburg in broad daylight. They spent a carefree day of drinking whiskey, intimidating citizens, and insulting Unionists. That afternoon, Waldrip and Caldwell left a saloon on the west end of town. As they walked southeast on Main Street, they met former Texas Ranger Captain Philip Braubach, who had been the Gillespie County Sheriff from 1860 to 1866 in front of the courthouse, near the corner of Main and Crockett Streets. Braubach was the son-in-law of Lewis Schutz, the man Waldrip was accused of murdering. In an instant, the street in front of the courthouse exploded in gunfire. Braubach jerked his pistol and squeezed off a few rounds. Waldrip responded. The shooting did no damage, but drew the attention of Gillespie County Sheriff Ferdinand and a group of armed citizens. With the sheriff and his posse closing in, Waldrip took off down Main Street, running towards the Nimitz Hotel at the far end of town. At the Nimitz, he busted through the front door and dashed through the lobby. As the outlaw walked out the back door of the Nimitz, Philip Braubach waited calmly, guns drawn, as still as a tombstone. As Waldrip stepped into the sunlight, 2 shots rang out. Waldrip fell dead near an oak tree by the stable.